UCLA Beach Volleyball is the third-ranked program in the country, and they've been doing it all on the road. The Bruins have a doubleheader at home next. It's a beautiful day in LA to get your toes in the sand. Beach volleyball on Pac-12 Network. We are on the campus of UCLA at Sunset Canyon Courts, where the Bruins will be hosting the Cal Poly Mustangs. Taking a look at the big picture first, the AVCA Beach Volleyball poll, 4 teams from the Pac-12 conference in the top 15 in the nation. USC remains at number 1, perfect on the season so far. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Anne-Marie Anderson alongside beach volleyball Olympian Nicole Branna. And Nicole, you look at the depth of the Pac-12 conference. They are strong, leading the way.
They really are. 4 teams in the top 15. They have such depth this year and getting better and better. And again, SC topping the polls as they did last year.
And you talk about depth. UCLA, third-ranked team in the nation, and depth has been the key to their success.
They have very strong pairs this year, especially in that 4 and 5 pair have really gotten better this year. If they could just figure out that 5-pair piece with a couple injuries there and getting the players in there, I think they're going to be in the competition for the championship.
Stein Metzger's Bruins again led at the ones by the twin sisters, the McNamara twins.
They are twins for sure, not only on the court, but in their awards, both All-Americans, co-freshman of the year for the Pac-12. They are playing so well. They're stronger this year. They're really trying to perfect their game, get those shots right on the line, and use the whole court and take their game to the next level. They are the standard here at UCLA, and they show it.
Cal Poly has their work cut out for them. They're going to be facing the third-ranked team in the nation, UCLA. Can the Mustangs take down the Bruins? We're going to get the action started right on the other side of this break.
You're watching
What You Crave. Welcome back to Sunset Canyon Recreation Center on the campus of UCLA. About to get this first of 2 duels underway. Cal Poly Mustangs facing UCLA later on Pac-12 Network. The UCLA Bruins will face LMU. But let's start off first with the second pair and the 4th pair. On court 2, it's going to be Jordan Anderson and Izzy Carey of UCLA facing Cal Poly's only upperclassman team, Neiman and Gorman. But we're going to start our attention and action on court number 1 with the 2 pairs. It's Adley Van Winden of Cal Poly facing with Taylor Nelson facing UCLA's 2s, Camila Tan and Maddie Yeomans. And Tan, a 5th-year senior working with just a freshman, no doubt who's going to be leading on that court for UCLA.
Nice to have some leadership there with freshmen.
Tan serving. Immediately, little shot to the line.
That set just came in a little bit, and she did a nice little hand right back to the line over the blocker. Love to see her turn and try to play that ball up.
Taylor Nelson serves. Yeomans. Straight over. Up for Tan. Just off again to the line. Taking a look at the format here, 5 matches of pairs, best 3 of 5 wins the match. Things are done a little bit differently at UCLA.
That's right. They have 2 courts set up here, so they're going with the 2s and 4s and hoping to get some early points on the board and then finish off with their number 1 team in the middle there, which usually is a good point for them.
Yeah, 1s and 3s, and then the 5s will play if needed to decide. Meanwhile, a block from Maddie Yeomans, the freshman from Ocean Beach, California. Yeomans, one of the tallest, longest reaches on the team for UCLA out of Ocean Beach, touches 10 feet. Makes Nelson handle the first ball again. Van Winden just sees the back corner but goes a little long.
Good idea on 2 to try to catch UCLA off guard there, but just go a little along that end line. She could get up and kind of crush that ball if she got a little bit off the net.
Yeoman serving again, and they're going away from Van Winden. Tan, been a defender for the last couple of years for the Bruins, moved over to the defender spot when Zoe Nightingale was her partner 2 seasons ago.
And that takes a little bit of transition, going from blocker to defender, different kind of hand-eye coordination and trying to read that ball, but going for every ball no matter what.
No, cross! You in!
Again, just going long. They're making Taylor Nelson handle every first ball for Cal Poly.
Well, she's made a couple errors here right now, so if I was back there on the service line, I'd want to keep the ball on her and keep the pressure on. It's mentally challenging to kind of keep sighting out every single ball, and if you're struggling, it's even harder.
Again, the little shot has been working. Tan picks it up, no one on the net. High line is the call, and it scores.
Nice long rally there, and she was digging back and forth. She likes that inside set from what we've seen and kind of turning the wrist away, high line, right over the blocker. It's going to be a long game here if they have these long rallies, so I'd love to see her get up and crush a few balls right now on the side out and keep them on their toes on UCLA's side.
Adley Van Winden, the older sister of UCLA freshman Taylor Van Winden. Big dig. Platter dig by Van Winden, but Nelson unable to play it.
That was a nice crush down the line. Blocker pulled off the net, and you know what? If they pull, make them pay. Get up there and crush the ball right there at the blocker, because it's sometimes hard to get stopped in time and dig that ball up, as we just saw.
Tan, heat on the serve. And heat delivered back. Taylor Nelson puts it away.
There's the heat. I think she's got to go to that now for the next little while and see if they can dig the heat and then go back to that shot and keep working it in. A little cat and mouse game with UCLA.
Mustangs head coach Todd Rogers said that Nelson's serving now arguably the most talented beach player. And as that one is put long by Yeomans, Nelson will serve again. And part of it that Todd Rogers really likes about Nelson, he says her hand-eye coordination is the best on the team. It would make sense. Taylor Nelson, the starting setter on the indoor team.
She probably sees the court very well on the beach as well. As a setter, you're running an offense there. You're trying to get your hitters open with the blockers and reading that. So being able to bring that to the beach game, and especially playing defense, is a key element there.
No one on. Set inside. And Tan chases it down, but there you see the set. Always an issue if the set isn't perfect coming in from that angle.
That's right. Just getting that turn back to the line, and it's kind of reminds me of the old Todd Rogers shot that he used to do down the line, just a little chippy, that inside set. Nice high arm right over the block.
On the other court, Anderson and Carey leading 10-3 against Neiman and Gorman. No one on. Tan trying to push it long, and Van Winden poke up from Tan and then put down. It looks like they're not blocking on Nelson these last couple.
Yeah, they've been pulling on her, and I think it's because she started off with those little shots. And if someone's going to be shooting you to death the whole time, it's best to kind of pull off the net and play for the shot. She did go and crush that one ball, and they had trouble with it.
Yeah, and that was Van Winden doing that. It looks like maybe for Van Winden they're blocking. We'll see if they block. Meanwhile, finding the corner is Yeomans. Side switch. Nelson and Van Winden just trailing by 2. Van Winden and Nelson grew up together since they were little girls. They were the ones team last year for Cal Poly. Mothers are best friends. Sometimes that can be a good thing, sometimes not. Camila Tan serving.
Just a little under that serve there. Got to keep that ball in front of you so you can get on top of it, get a good wrist snap. Seems a little off on the timing.
See if they continue to go to Yeomans, and they do. Going for the corner. This time they are up as Yeomans attacks and pulling. Nice dig. It's interesting to see that Yeomans at time pulls off the second time that Nelson hits, mixing it up a bit.
Absolutely. They just, stay up sometimes, pull back. They're having very long rallies here on this court, and it is hot, so that will take into account here for the player that's going to be served. That's even harder to do in this heat.
Well, and playing on that, Nicole, for UCLA, this is their first match of the day, their first duel of the day. But Cal Poly's already played LMU earlier today, so in terms of heat, and Cal Poly lost to LMU, not much time to recover. How much does that play into it?
Well, taking in the heat, that does take a toll on your body, and when you have a break, you really have to hydrate and get some food in your body, get good energy, but you want to have a good balance, so you're not coming back out here on the court kind of feeling full and heavy, and you want to keep that light feeling. And yeah, the heat is a factor, but maybe that first round helped them get a little bit warmed up. They got a little time under their belts to play and come out and play very tough number 3 UCLA. Great
76
team.
degrees here on the campus of UCLA right now. Still no breeze though at all. Just a 1-point lead for UCLA's two pairs of Yeomans and Tan, a true freshman and a fifth-year senior. Tan, the veteran, rips it. Yeomans shutting down the net. Van Winden, left hand.
Nice trick shot there, mixing it up. If that sets off, nice to be able to go with the left hand and just chip it right over the net. Yeomans went up and then she stayed down and didn't block. Probably tried to pull off the net short to play that ball up. She kind of got stuck there in between.
Keeping it on Yeomans. Van Winden blocking. And again, back to the little shot. And so a 1-point game in this first duel of the Pac-12 and Network's doubleheader today.
Kelly Inoue-Perez, head softball coach at UCLA.
Watch on Pac-12 Networks.
Pac-12 Beach Volleyball is brought to you by State Farm. Get to a better state. Cal Poly and UCLA getting under the way. The first of 2 duels on Pac-12 at Network today. We're at Sunset Canyon Recreation Center on the campus of third-ranked at UCLA. The 2s and 4s are going at it right now on court number 2. The 4 pairs, Anderson and Carey, doubling up. Neiman and Gorman leading the first set 14-7, but we return to the action on court 1, a tighter matchup. Nelson and Van Winden of Cal Poly trailing Yeomans and Tan, and if you're a UCLA fan, no, that's the other Van Winden, Adley Van Winden. Sister Tori will be playing for the Bruins later.
UCLA scoring well right now, and they're really putting the pressure on with the side out and capitalizing on these chances that they're getting to score points.
Up, pulling off as the short shot been coming. Tan digs it with her hands, and it's called a double.
Just a little bobble there in the hands. Sometimes that's up to each referee. One referee might not think it was a double, another might. So,
Adley Van Winden serving now. Older sister of UCLA's Tori Van Winden. They played together a bunch, Tori told us before we started today. Adley and Tori played together growing up. She said sometimes as sisters, you know each other a little too well.
That's right. It doesn't always work for everyone. I think it'd probably be a little hard to play with one of my siblings, but sometimes that just doesn't click. The McNamara's have figured out a way to make it work and have really improved that part of their game as well. Sometimes the chemistry is a big aspect the team needs to work on. It's not just always going to be great all the time.
Meanwhile, for Adley Van Winden and Taylor Nelson, though, have played together 4 years since they were little girls. Van Winden out of Napa, California. Taylor Nelson, who's serving now out of Granite Bay. And again, the setting goes awry, just trying to keep it on. Cal Poly is coached by Todd Rogers, a legend of the beach game. 20 years on the beach, a 3-time Olympian and an Olympic gold medalist.
Amazing player. He is the professor, as he is known on the beach, and He's always out there. You don't know what he's thinking, but he's got strategy going on in his mind. He knows the game so well, and these athletes are so lucky to have him at the head of the program, learning from one of the best defenders in the world.
Well, and continuing with Todd Rogers, I asked him, sometimes when you've got one of the best players as a coach, they're unable to communicate it to players in a way that they can receive it. And talking to some of the Cal Poly players, they were saying, yeah, that isn't Todd's problem. And Todd explained, it's because I don't feel the game came to me naturally. I had to learn everything. I wasn't a freak athlete, so I had to really think about how I was going to get from here to there.
Right, and it is difficult. Indoor and beach are different games, and so just because you play indoor doesn't mean you're going to be able to walk right out here and own the beach game. It takes time.
Another Olympian around. In fact, they're all over the place today. You're an Olympian. How about Stein Metzger, his 4th season as head coach at UCLA? Both Metzger and Rogers and Jenny Johnson-Jordan, all Olympians. Jenny, the assistant for UCLA, sitting right next to Stein Metzger. Cal, Nicole, one of the things about beach volleyball that we see more than in other sports, the great players come back and give, and you see really high-level former players as coaches.
That's right, and it is great. The players love to be around beach volleyball. They loved playing. They had a good experience, and they want to come back and see people get better and grow the game. And so these athletes are fortunate to be surrounded by talent.
Anderson and Carey on court 2. Holding down the 4 to 7 point lead over Neiman and Gorman. Meanwhile, much closer on court number 1 on the left side of your screen, Nelson and Van Winden of Cal Poly with a slight edge over UCLA's Yeoman and Tan. So let's take a look over at court 2 and see what's been going on there as Anderson and Carey approach the end of the first set. Carey and then Anderson chasing it down. Anderson pulling off the net, and it's a double called by the official, and that's why Anderson didn't pursue that ball.
Nice rally there again, and hustling. Both of these players, Carey and Anderson, are great athletes. Carey making the move back to full-time defender. Used to be a blocker up at the net, so again, another transition player that's kind of making that move to the back row and learning how to play there.
With that service error, that ends a UCLA 10-6 run. This is set point again. Anderson and Carey receiving. Going away from Anderson, and an ace serve by Savannah Neiman, a junior out of Lake Forest, California.
That was a beautiful serve. Just caught her on the right side of her, right on that sideline. And some players, you know what? Carey struggles with the passing on the right side or the left side, or serve the middle because they don't communicate well. So that was an excellent serve.
How about 2 consecutive ace serves, this time going between, trying to split Anderson and Carey?
Just what they needed, and mixing that serve up again is a great idea. Anderson's going to hop over on that middle ball and help with some of that side-out pressure.
Set point number 4 for UCLA, and it will end on a service error. Anderson and Carey taking set 1 over Cal Poly's Neiman and Gorman. So we'll return to the action on court number 1. They're in a timeout right now, Adley Van Winden and Taylor Nelson, with a 2-point lead over Yeomans and Tan. This is the 2s for these two teams, and Nelson and Van Winden have had so many years together under their belt versus Yeomans and Tan, a freshman and a 5th-year senior. How much does experience together play into it?
Yeah, I think it helps a lot, having that time together on the court. Again, some of that chemistry can get better over the years, and just knowing your partner and kind of like, oh, you know what? I know Anne-Marie's going to get that ball, so I can let go and get ready to give her a good set. So it does make a big difference. On the UCLA side, I've seen Tan miss a couple serves. Again, she's kind of not getting on top of that ball, so I'd love to see her just stay on the ground right now. Cal Poly was struggling a little bit with that side-out pressure, and make them have to side out. Let's not give them the unforced free point on the service error.
Boy, this program, this sport has grown exponentially since the first year of 2012 when the season, just 15 teams starting out in 2012, 15 college beach teams. It's up to 77 this year, with 32 more Division I additions expected over the next 4 years. This sport has had a program and a thirst for it as it has been building every year.
the fastest growing sport in NCAA history. It's unbelievable, and it's such a great opportunity for these student athletes to be able to continue playing beach volleyball after high school. You see clubs popping up all over the country in places you probably don't even think they play beach volleyball, but really creating a great opportunity for these athletes.
Well, and just from an emerging sport to an NCAA championship sport last year, so big growth.
Again, going back to that little chippy over the block for Yeomans, it's working. So she's going to keep that up. And again, until Cal Poly makes a change on defense, you just keep on at it.
Yeoman's trying to tie it up now with UCLA. The set is tight. Great pokey by Taylor Nelson. Puts Nelson and Van Winden at set point.
Nice pokey over the block. And the defender, you got to try to run that shot down. You can't get everything, but still got to try to go for that.
Set point for Cal Poly. Nelson at the net. Lets it rip. And Nelson and Van Winden take set number 1 from the two pairs.
And did that with a huge crush that I'd love to see. I want to see more of that in set 2. Way to end that strong for Cal Poly and come out on top.
Well, we told you it was hot today. Stein Metzger watering the courts ahead of time, keeping that sand nice and cool for his UCLA Bruins.
You need tires.
Back at Sunset Canyon Recreation Center, beach volleyball on Pac-12 Network. First flight between Cal Poly and third-ranked UCLA. Two matches going on concurrently. On the left side of your screen on court number 1 are the twos, and Van Winden and Nelson of the Mustangs took set number 1 over Yeomans and Tan. We're going to start off, though, now on court number 2 with the 4 pairs. Anderson and Carey won the first set decisively against Neiman and Gorman. Jordan Anderson reaching in. Carey has received most of the serves in the first set. Anderson the blocker. And a hitting error. Puts UCLA on the board for the first time in this second set. Carey now serving. Little. Anderson passes the first ball. A big indoor hitter. Lets it fly outdoors across court.
Huge, powerful swing by Anderson there, and she crushes balls. So she's going to get up and really put some heat behind that ball. Like you said, coming from indoor, you want to hit every ball hard. When you come to the beach, you can do that too, and then mix a few shots in there as well.
Anderson defending the net. Jordan Anderson's played with a number of different partners this year. 15-1 Anderson is, no matter who she's playing with, really embracing the beach game.
And that says a lot about her as an athlete. You can put her with anyone and she's going to have success. She's a great teammate. She has a great mentality. Put me with anyone. I want to do what's best for the team, and that's the kind of athlete you just love to have on your squad.
Savannah Neiman, a junior out of Lake Forest, California, never played any beach at all in high school, serves the ball again at Carey. No one on. Carey unloads.
Both of them getting some heat behind that ball and really putting it down. Those shots in the beginning weren't working so well, so they switched up their game plan, starting to hit hard, and they're getting closer to Cal Poly.
No one on that way. Carey digs. Anderson on 2 to the corner.
Smart shot. Saw the open corner there and just went right on. A nice little finesse shot. Wasn't too powerful, but a nice hand on it and just put it right back in that corner where it's hard to defend.
Jordan Anderson out of Flower Mound, Texas, played soccer for 13 years. She never even started indoor volleyball until her freshman year of high school at 15. Embraced it. Last year did not get any court time at all for the Bruins on the sixes.
Very athletic player. As you can see, if she started so late learning the game, just pulling off the net there and missed that over the hand dig.
When Anderson transferred to UCLA a couple of years ago, she made her intentions very clear, saying she wanted to play both. After being a big indoor star, she just helped out last year. Got her opportunity, according to Stein Metzger, when Savvy Simo got injured, and just will not let go, forcing Metzger to keep her in.
That's right. She's a hard worker, and again, a great athlete to have in your lineup. Somebody who's a winner, as we saw from her 15-1 record. And that's contagious for the team. For anyone she plays with, she can leave a good example. She's a senior, good role model for these younger players.
Neiman serves at Anderson. Hand set, beautiful by Carey. Dug up. Gorman keeping it in play. Anderson up. And into the top of the tape.
Izzy Carey giving her those juicy sets, and she was an indoor setter. Love to see those hands coming out on the beach. Nice smooth set. You just get and crush that ball.
On the other court, and Van Minden out to a good set number 2, leading Yeomans in 6-3. Anderson defending that.
Steinmacher said she's a monster at the net, roofing people, crushing balls, just kind of owning it, and that makes it so much easier as a defender behind her to play defense, knowing that she's going to be a big presence up there and take away a lot of space from the hitter.
Anna Gorman and Savannah Neiman tied up with Anderson and Carey. Trying to go off the top of the tape there, almost. No go. Service error.
Got to keep that ball on that hitter who just made an error. The pressure's on them. They're thinking about it. One more serve at them, and even if it's an easier serve, just keep the pressure on and keep the ball in the court.
Anna Gorman doesn't forget anything, according to head coach Todd Rogers. Called her mind a steel trap. Said not only does she not forget, she can repeat back to you verbatim what you say. Coach on the court.
Yes, we have to be careful what you say.
Yes, I think so. That's a good point.
Going for the back set here. Again, just a little bit off, but nice footwork there to the ball. Kept it in front of her and still able to put it away down the middle.
Gorman's dad, Mike, played indoor at UCSB Santa Barbara before Todd Rogers played there. Rogers, of course, also a graduate of Santa Barbara. What a nice shot by Gorman into the corner.
Anderson struggling a little bit with that pull off the net, and they're going right over her head. She's got to turn and kind of play that ball low and at least try to go for it. She's not really following it to that end line.
Up for Carey. This time Anderson stays up at the net. Over dig. And right there, you talked about pulling off or not. Anderson was neither pulled off nor blocked.
And sometimes you do. You get stuck there. You're thinking, I'm going to pull, I'm going to stay, and you're just kind of in no man's land. But you got to at least throw your hands up in the air, something to throw that attacker off. Izzy Carey struggling a little bit here on the right side with that passing. So they switch sides and hopefully can get her side out game going on the left.
Sean Fallowfield, one of the coaches for UCLA, talking with Anderson and Carey. So much fun talking with head coach Stein Metzger about Fallowfield. He calls him the couples therapist. That Fallowfield really works on the relationship between the players. If we apply it right here to Anderson and Carey, it's of interest because Carey and Elise Zappia played together for a year and had a lot of success. So how challenging is that when people are having success and then you break them apart and put them with somebody else, sometimes just to strengthen the team or the depth?
Yeah, I'm sure it's hard because you're wondering, why are we splitting up? We're doing so well. But maybe the coach, they want to try a different pairing to see, again, if it can help the team as a whole. They're having success, but maybe they need to get that depth, like you said, a little bit stronger, and they can add and complement each other well. And having that couples therapist is very important in beach volleyball. I've had many coaches that work as both, and that is a big aspect of the game. So being able to manage different personalities and being able to get the most out of your partner.
And talking with Sean Fallowfield, saying, where did you come to that realization that you were good at this? He said, I'll be very honest. I've done a lot of work on myself over the years. I've looked at what I've been doing well, been doing wrong, just not even related to volleyball, but that awareness he feels can really be applied. And these are young student athletes between 18 and 22 years old, learning some valuable life skills from Sean Fallowfield.
And that's a great thing about college, is they're becoming great players, but also learning things about real life, about people, and about the things they want to do.
Carey pulls out beautiful pause, and Anderson rewards her with a kill. And so trailing by 3, Anderson and Carey after taking the first set, fighting Neiman and Gorman.
On Pac-12 Network.
It's tough being a student athlete, I tell you, on the campus of UCLA. Look at these students hard at work. All right, they're between classes. How about that? This is Sunset Canyon Recreation Center. The pool is one part of it. The beach volleyball courts are the rest. And the third-ranked UCLA Bruins holding court here. 2 courts of action. This is the first flight of the day on Pac-12 Network, of first of 2 duels of the day. On court number 1, well, Van Winden again with Nelson leading the way. But we're returning to court number 2, where Neiman and Gorman with a 3-point lead. What a block! Neiman shutting the door. Anderson, how dare you block her ball?
Going right down the middle there on that split in the defense, and not sure who's going to play that ball. Just kind of backing up off the net. Love to see a little bit more of an aggressive peel off the net and then being able to go for that ball.
So is it the first step you feel is too slow?
Get down, take a step off, and make a strong move back and be stopped when the hitter is hitting. Then you can make a move and react to the ball.
Anderson over the block there as they chipped away at that 3-point lead.
Again, a juicy set from Carey and a nice little roll shot back to the corner pocket there.
Steinmetzger, a big fan of Izzy Carey, said, "I'd be very happy to have 12 of her, just very coachable, flexible." Anderson, idea and execution probably did not match in her head.
Not the best shot to go for when you're facing kind of flat to the net like that, but if she could get that shoulder back and open to the corner, I think she could have made a good hand on a short little cut there.
Well, and Anderson's starting to figure this game out by her own admission, by Steinmetzger's admission as well. She's just a tremendous athlete who, again, both her indoor coach, Michael Seeley, and Steinmetzger, the beach coach, tell us is very coachable. First ball up, second out of the net.
And that's the scary part. Anderson is already this good, and imagine what she's going to be like even in a year from now. So much more to learn, and she wants it. And again, being coachable is key if you can get good feedback and really improve your game.
Anderson, a senior, will be finishing at UCLA Beach. Shuts it down there, but she plans to continue playing beach. Tied up at 13 apiece.
They're putting the pressure on Cal Poly, making plays. That was a huge block, and give them a little confidence and get back in their rhythm.
Yeah, it was a 3-point Cal Poly lead, and now the turnaround as UCLA up by 1. Anderson serving on the outside of Neiman. Power. Neiman unloads.
Finished that one with a little stare down at the net and said, "Go ahead and serve me again. I'll show you how it's done." Good approach, got open and just cranked it right down. Too much heat for Carey to handle on that hit.
Neiman never played any beach at all in high school. A middle blocker by trade. That one she hits from the outside as if she's an outside hitter. Anderson, apex set. And Carey just has all her options available.
She really does use the whole court. She has so many tools in her toolbox. She can crank it. She can do that nice little chip over the block. Great footwork here, waiting for that set, going up strong. Saw the open court, that angle block. That's the open shot that you're giving up, is that cut over the angle blocker.
It was tied up at 13, tied up at 14, now tied up at 15. Neiman and Gorman must win this second set in order to extend it to a third set. If Anderson and Carey can pull out set number 2, it'll be the first point of the duel for the Bruins. Ooh, that's a tough one, Nicole.
That was one of those plays where you just are shaking your head saying, really? Did that just happen? The old forearm cut shot over the net?
Yeah,
Have
and
you
then
done
there was
that before?
the call. No, of course not. There's no tape. But then the call, the communication between players. Carey up into the block. And Anderson hits the shot that perhaps she wanted Carey to hit, down the line over the block.
Too many unforced errors right now by UCLA. Got to kind of take care of those to keep in the game. Cal Poly's keeping the pressure on them. And you know what? Both of these Cal Poly teams right now are pushing UCLA to the limit here. They're putting the pressure on and playing very well against the number 3 ranked UCLA squad.
Carey, little shot. It's picked up just fine. And now Gorman going to go up off the tape. Anderson digs, trips down in the sand, gets some help from the nets.
Trying to show up that over forearm cut shot with the tape dribbler there.
You can have a whole toolbox of forearm cut shot, tape dribbler. All looks the same on the scoreboard. Meanwhile, just solid work from Neiman.
Very good playing right now. She's sighting out well. She's blocking well, setting her partner well in transition when they get a chance to score. And really, you get a couple points, you sight out well, and then you get a couple little points on the scoring, and you've got a nice lead.
So, worry you, do you want Anderson up there blocking on her still? Because every time Anderson is, she's doing a little shot.
I think Anderson could delay the block a little bit then if someone's shooting over you, and wait to kind of swat it or play it low when it comes down.
And right there, she delayed, pulled off, but it's tagging the line. And for Neiman and Gorman on the side switch, a 3-point lead. If they win this second set, it goes to a third set on court 2.
And Anderson is struggling with that pull off the net and the shot over her. So you know what? She's a huge blocker. Stay up at the net, be a force, take away, get in her face, and get some intimidation going there.
Carey. Nice vision as Gorman went the other way. Izzy Carey serving for UCLA. Trailing by 2. Gorman sets. Conversation was middle. And again, Neiman, just you can tell by her vision where she's putting the ball that she knows, she can see.
And she's sighting out well. Right now, if I were UCLA, I'd throw a ball over to Anna Gorman. Test her a little bit. Neiman's been sighting out consistently. Gorman might not be ready for the serve. Neiman might not be ready to give her the perfect set. So you got to try out those things and see if you can get a point off the other partner.
Set point. Carey, little over, and it extends, but it will remain Cal Poly set point. The Mustangs trying to push it to a third set. Crushed to the back line, and Neiman and Gorman take set number 2, leading much of the way. Anderson and Carey, Neiman and Gorman will go to a third set. And so let's take a look at the action on court number 1, where the 2s are playing. Cal Poly took the first set 21-18. They're leading by 1 late in set number 2. Van Winnen has been handling most of the serves, trading points back and forth, these two. Of course, things heating up across the country. All the teams preparing, trying to make sure that they get picked into the field of 8 to go to this event. The second ever NCAA Beach Volleyball Champions will be crowned in Gulf Shores, Alabama, at the beginning of May.
That is the place to be, and it is beautiful, beautiful white sand, palm trees, the best competition.
Yep, and so for the Pac-12 championship, those teams coming in, trying to get the Pac-12, get that momentum going to the NCAA championship. It's April 27th and 28th. Coverage begins at 9 a.m. Pacific time on April 27th out of Tucson, Arizona, the team championship.
And as we saw, many strong teams from the Pac-12 in the top 15 rankings, so that's going to be a very tough tournament, great competition, very high-level play that will help them get ready for that NCAA tournament.
4 teams in the Pac-12 in the top 15. Pac-12 Network will have that championship covered the 27th and 28th. Tan, Little. Trying to go for it with her right hand is Camila Tan.
Got to try to get that left hand a little bit more extended and go with the left hand on that one instead of the right, so you have more room. But Cal Poly is really capitalizing well on their chances right now, and they're getting an opportunity to score.
That one tagged the outside of the back line, and it is match point for Cal Poly's two team, Nelson and Van Winden.
UCLA got to get some strong serving back at this end line to keep them in the game and put the pressure on Cal Poly and see if they can tie it up.
Yeomans serving for Tan and Yeomans, a fifth-year senior and a true freshman. Yeomans serve now up at the net. Van Winden, pokey. Tan, no one on. Van Winden pulls off, big dig. Wow, Adley Van Winden, decisive win for Cal Poly's two teams.
That was some power behind that ball. UCLA had a chance there, but just couldn't quite finish it off with that last play. And Cal Poly's looking very good.
Thanks, Ref. Good job, dude. Well, so the first point of the duel has been struck. Cal Poly Mustangs twos now leading 1-0 over the Bruins. Cal Poly leading third-ranked UCLA in this first of two duels on Pac-12 Network. It's a 1-0 lead as the twos for Cal Poly struck first. We're going to return to the action on court two, where the fours are in the third set. And they just took a timeout, but it's a strong start for UCLA, 5-0. Nicole, what have they done differently in this set?
UCLA came out and started serving Anna Gorman. So Neiman was sighting out well that whole second game and handled the pressure very well, getting up, cranking the ball, working well at the net. They switched up the serving, and right now they're on a 5-0 run, and it's working.
UCLA has won 17 straight. They are 19-2 on the year. Those two losses occurred at the very beginning of the season on the same day.
That's right, going down to SC and Pepperdine, and since then haven't let up. Foot is on the pedal, and they've been handling teams. Florida State they struggled with last year, but they've handled them very well this year. And again, that goes back to the depth that they have 1 through 5.
Yeah, and Stein Metzger talked to us about those two losses that you see on their board, saying he wasn't discouraged at all. He feels like they're within striking distance because last year they went 0-5 against USC, 0-5 against Pepperdine. This year in those losses we just showed you, it was 2-3 each time. So UCLA genuinely the number 3 team in the nation. Stein Metzger feels like it is within reach. The Pac-12 championship in Tucson, Arizona, the NCAA championship the following weekend in Alabama.
I agree, and when they're playing well, I think they can beat anyone. And they are getting better and better each time. He said they want to get 1% better every practice, and then wherever the chips fall.
Meanwhile, this action on court number 2, Neiman and Gorman now with an attack error coming out of the timeout, giving Anderson and Carey another point. How do you right the ship if you're Neiman and Gorman?
They called the timeout, so I just suggested that, but they got to gather themselves and just really get that rhythm down with the pass set and try something different. Switch sides and mix it up for UCLA, because right now they are handling it no problem.
Devastating kill, knocked off the glasses of Gorman, lens out of the glasses.
Huge attack by Izzy Carey with power, just shattering those glasses right off. Hopefully she's fine, because some of those hits can really hurt. And you know what? This is exactly what they need. Not the hit necessarily, but the wiping of the glasses, having a few minutes to gather, the coaches out there, taking a breather, talk about some strategy. Okay, are we going to switch sides? What are we going to do when we get the ball back? But first, right now, they need to worry about their side and get a side out so they can get on the board.
And you see their coach, but you also see UCLA's trainer out there, so I don't want people to get confused as to what's happening. UCLA's trainer, since this is UCLA's facility, just checking it out, making sure that Anna Gorman, the senior, is okay.
And that was a hard hit to her face, so that is something to keep your eye on. And looks like the glasses are intact, or a new pair, but I'm sure she's a bit rattled.
Well, we told you earlier that Todd Rogers' assessment of Anna Gorman is that Her mind's a steel trap, doesn't forget anything. We'll see if she tries to take it out because they go right after her on the serve. And Gorman rights the ship right after that.
Great high line shot there coming out of the gate, and just what they needed to get back in this game. And now they need to put on the serving pressure.
You mentioned that they served Gorman now. UCLA served Gorman. If you're Cal Poly, do you have a preference in Anderson or Carey who you would serve in your experience?
Going off of game 1 and 2, whoever I had more success against, each team is different. So one team might like serving Anderson because she hits more and they have a huge blocker. Izzy Carey has more shots and she'll crank it here and there, but if you like to run down shots, I would serve Izzy Carey.
Anderson serving, decisive 8-1 lead. Gorman up, Anderson gonna stay and block.
And that high line's working for her, so keep going for it. That's 2 in a row that she scored on, and Anderson just looks like she almost took angle on that ball, and Carey was also in the angle. So the high line was wide open.
We started this broadcast, Nicole, with you talking about the depth of UCLA. Fours is one of the areas that Steinmetzger liked. How important is the fact that they're able to recover from a second set loss? This is a fairly new partnership and come out so strong in set number 3.
And some of that comes from the experience and the time you've had. Let's say you've done it before, or you know what? We've been in this position, you can draw from that experience, and if not, here it is. Let's see how we handle it and move forward. And they have their couples coach over there helping them on the sideline, working it through. But these are those tough games, and they came out strong. Seems like they recovered well from that second set loss so far.
8-1 record as partners this season, Anderson and Carey. And reminder that this third set is a shorter set, only to 15 points. So Anderson and Carey digging a hole for Neiman and Gorman, saying step on in. That's hard to recover from.
That's right. This one is most likely going UCLA's way and switching sides every 5 points instead of the 7 this time.
The overpass kill gets the best of us.
That's right. Not expecting it. That over bump, and they've had a couple of those little wacky plays there that have gone down. So now's the time. Serve tough from the end line. You really, to get back in this game, they have to get some strong serving going there and getting UCLA in some side-out trouble.
Carey receives first ball. Steinmetzger said she added 6 inches to her jump this year. 6 inches.
Unbelievable. I think mine went down 6 inches, so very impressive.
You lost
That's
him and she found him,
that's
is that
right.
what you're saying?
I gave them to her. That's a lot of hard work in the gym with the strength coach, working on those plyometrics, and the off season is when you get a lot of that extra muscle on to help you last through the season. So good for her. That's awesome.
Anderson at the net, gonna stay. Gonna close and clamp it down. 10-point lead for Anderson and Carey.
And Anderson and Carey are just doing everything very well right now. Nice lineup there on the hitter, and she just pressed over well, nice and low, and got in her face.
Pulling off. And it tags, or it doesn't, it's wide actually. No, they are saying that it tagged the outside line, so Cal Poly point. Gorman serving. Goes Carey. Shots.
That's the signature shot for her this game. That's the second one in a row that's gone down. Just a nice cut over the block, and that's the open spot right now, and she's able to see that. She's making a great decision.
Match point for Anderson and Carey. They won set number 1, dropped set 2. Going at Gorman. Pulling off. Carey, dig. And the chase is on. Here's an opportunity for Cal Poly. Not done yet. Neiman and Gorman. Looking like the first flight of action may end up split between Cal Poly and UCLA, putting pressure on the second flight of action when the 1 and 3 pairs will play.
That was a close call there, but just barely missed the line. came in there on that set, was a little inside and tried to really put it away with the exclamation point, but just went long on the sideline. Like to see that aggressiveness, though, at the end of the game.
Still remains match point, and it will end on a service error. And so Anderson and Carey get a point for UCLA. In a hard-fought 3-set matchup of the 4 pairs, it's now tied up. Cal Poly and UCLA, 1 point apiece in this duel on Pac-12 Network. We're going to try to track down Jenny Johnson-Jordan next.
Man, I'm really craving a Dr. Pepper.
Be good at life. New York life.
Welcome back. Sunset Canyon Recreation Center tied up at 1 point apiece in this duel on Pac-12 Network. Cal Poly and third-ranked UCLA. First flight of action over, and the 2-pair from Cal Poly takes it in 2 sets to put the first point up. And then the 4-pair, Anderson and Carey of UCLA, fought hard 3 sets to tie it back up at 1 point apiece in this duel. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. I'm Anne-Marie Anderson, sitting with a couple of Olympians, Ed San and Nicole Branna and Jenny Johnson-Jordan, assistant coach for UCLA. The depth of this Bruin program is what's really struck us this year. To what do you attribute the big gains 1 through 5?
I think for us, we started out, well, we are really a young team. We have 5 freshmen starting right now playing for us, and we've just done a lot of really hard training throughout this year, throughout the preseason and coming into this season, and this team is hungry, so we're ready to go.
And how have you as a coach enjoyed coming back to UCLA and giving back to the players?
I love being back here. I mean, any chance I can, I will jump in and play with them too.
I'm sure.
But I love coaching them. I love seeing their growth as players, their development as players, and just being a part of their process here at UCLA.
One of the things that we talked about head coach Steinmetzger with was that there's been some movement. You had some injuries early, now Savvy Simo coming back and playing. You guys both have played with various partners throughout your careers. How challenging
I'm not so sure
is
Jenny
it?
has.
Well, Annette Davis, but still,
okay.
You know, before then,
Yeah.
right? How challenging is it when you're faced with a different partner coming in, and what is the biggest challenge?
Well, I mean, there were some opportunities we had as players. We played in these specialty events where we got to play with different people, and one thing I learned right off the bat really was that you have to communicate. You got to figure things out quickly. You don't have time to just, you know, be nice and just sit back. You say, no, this is the kind of set I like, this is the kind of pass I like, this is what I like to see on the block, on defense, and I think the more you communicate, the more you get used to each other, the faster you grow as a team.
And do the players ask you these kinds of things about your experience and advice that you would give to them?
Yeah, I think, you know, at first there's a little resistance and frustration with playing with so many different people because they want to know who their partner is. They want to get things settled. But one thing I remember saying to them at the beginning of the year was that you don't know what's going to happen. You could be playing with one person one game and another person the next, and that's exactly what's happened this season. And they're like, oh, okay, you may have been right.
Well, they're very lucky to have you. You are by far one of my favorite role models that I've ever had, and a coach with great integrity. And
Thank you.
Well, that's one of the things that Stein did talk to us about, actually, was that you're a little bit of an E.F. Hutton with these players. You're not that far removed from your playing career. And so off the court, what are some of the most important lessons to you that you want for these student athletes?
I think for them, just really to be present and enjoy the experience. I mean, as a college athlete, I played indoor and I loved it, but I didn't get to have this kind of opportunity. And it would have been great, especially going to the pro ranks, to have this kind of training and development as a player and then step into the pros. I mean, I just say, just enjoy this. This is an honor and a privilege to be able to do this in college, and they do. They do a good job of that.
Well, and one of the things that you're talking about is really the growth of this sport. Of course, we're going to look at some photos of you during your playing career.
Boy.
But for this time with you, and you see your father, of course, or Rayford Johnson there, now there's programs where these athletes are getting their toes in the sand in high school and beyond. How is that changing the trajectory of college beach volleyball?
Well, the players are developing so much faster. I mean, when I was starting to play, I didn't play until after college, and now these athletes are getting the opportunity to get great training, technical training in junior high school, even as early as that. So their development there, their dedication to staying with beach and doing beach only and really pursuing that, it just ups the level in the college game.
And how about your daughter? Is she interested in volleyball, or are you passing on your tips?
She's been playing indoor. I was able to coax her out to the beach, and actually it was funny. Last year she played in a tournament, and before the first game was over, she's like, I love this. So she, you know, when she can, she does play beach, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, so in the second flight of action, we're going to see you on the court of Tori Van Winden and Elise Zappia, a freshman and a sophomore. Of course, we saw Tori Van Winden indoor, who was fantastic. What do you like about this pairing?
Well, Tori is obviously a great presence at the net. She's a great blocker, great on the right side. Elise is a steady defender for us and brings a lot of experience as a junior. So they work really well together as a team, very mature as a team, and definitely know strategy-wise what they want to do. They have a good head on their shoulders as far as that's concerned. So I trust them a lot in the huddle, let them speak, let them give ideas, and I love watching them play.
That's awesome. We're looking forward to it. You guys are off to a great start this year.
Yes, it's been great.
The number 3 team in the nation, the UCLA Bruins. We're going to see the second flight of action coming up. We mentioned Van Winden and Zappia. You're also going to see the McNamara twins coming up. The number 1 team for UCLA going to get stronger and stronger. So the McNamaras against Cal Poly's ones. It's tied up at 1 apiece after the first flight.
Today, the Bruins play host to...
We're about to start the second flight of action, tied up at 1 apiece. Cal Poly versus the third-ranked team in the nation, UCLA. Beach volleyball, the first of 2 duels on Pac-12 Network today. UCLA will play Loyola Marymount later. And so in the second flight of action on court 2, the 3 pairs, Pembroke and Grayson, will face Tori Van Winden and Elise Zappia. But we're going to turn our attention to court number 1. Where Hannah Hubbard and Emily Sunny, a junior freshman pair for Cal Poly, will be facing UCLA's ones. No, you're not seeing double. The McNamara's identical twins with mirror image numbers 13 and 31. Nicole, what's challenging about facing the McNamara's?
Well, they're a very powerful team, and they have only gotten stronger, Coach Metzger said, and they're really trying to perfect their game and really bring it up to that next level. They have some good international experience as well, that playing against, you know, some of the top teams in the world can help increase their game and bring it right back here to the college scene.
So one of the ways that you tell them apart usually is the tape on their shoulder, but very interesting that Nicole, who is the lefty, number 13, has removed the tape from her shoulder that was on earlier. How challenging is it now when you got identical twins, one lefty, one right, mirror numbers? How do you know?
And when you're playing them, I'm not thinking, oh, this one's left-handed. What number? Their numbers are identical pretty much in my mind. So if you have some kind of signal like that, like a tape or whatever, that really does help, because they could switch sides of the court, and if you're not really paying attention, you have no idea. So they could trick you into serving the other partner if one of them is struggling. So today they're fooling us too.
Yeah, they had it on earlier and took it off. Stein Metzger is coaching on court number 1. The McNamara's, one of the things that he really admires about this team is that they are the hardest workers in his program, he feels, consistently. Long ball. Megan McNamara, number 31, continuing to serve. Pulling off, and Hannah Hubbard sends it long, a junior from San Diego, California, transferred from Boise State.
Nice to get that player at Cal Poly and get some other talent in there for Todd when he took over the program a couple seasons ago.
Hubbard sets. Nicole digs. And Megan sets. And just even that cutting coming over your shoulder, how challenging.
Beautiful. That is a hard shot to do, and she had such a nice touch on it. Seeing the open court, and really that was on maybe the 2-foot line. The blocker pulled off, and that was the open shot, and she went for it. And that's exactly what Metzger's talking about, is that they have brought their game up another level. They were already very good, and they're just getting better.
And in that moment, is that where you go, that's right, she's the lefty. She's the lefty.
That's right.
Pounding again.
Did it again. One of the things he mentioned as well is their serving. They're just crushing jump serves from the end line. And really, if you can have a tough serve, that can get you a couple points in a match.
Stein Metzger, a few encouraging words. He credits them for the big swing and UCLA's ability to compete, saying ball control trumps all, and the McNamara's arrived on campus last year with great ball control.
They did. They had great experience before they got to UCLA and have been playing in Canada, and that is an important piece to the game, if not one of the most important, is being able to pass and set well, which they're showing us right now they can do.
Pulling off the net, and just a nice put down from Nicole McNamara.
And again, going back to that little cut shot, and that's hard with a lefty, hard to read sometimes, and she's already open to that spot. And it's probably not a hard shot for her, but she's making it look very easy.
Hand set, well set, and then used perfectly. Emily Sunny hand sets, Hannah Hubbard sees the court.
This Cal Poly team, if they want to get the McNamara's out of system, again, I probably sound like a broken record, but tough serving, doing some short serves, getting them to the end line, trying to get them out of their great pass set rhythm.
And what do you think about blocking? I mean, right there, easy crush for Megan McNamara with no block up. How do you make that decision against the McNamara's block or no block?
I would probably stay up for a while. They're good setters, so they're not setting that far off the net where you really need to pull off the net.
Looking for the corner, getting a touch. Hannah Hubbard, number 13 for Cal Poly, serving, and now Coach Todd Rogers calls her the mini professor. If he's the professor, he says she is his extension on the court. Court number 2, Van Winnen and Zappia leading Pembroke and Grayson by 3 points early. Ooh, the cut goes both ways. That time, Megan McNamara, right-handed, cutting. Power serve. There's the crushing serves that Steinmetzger told us about, pulling off. This is the lefty.
She's just using every shot in the book. She has quite a few shots in her toolbox. Great defense there, nice balance on the court, pulling off the net, and they just know each other so well that I know my sister's going to be there, 31 or 13, and let the ball go.
Nicole McNamara, powerful serve, but well handled. And then just over the block. Emily Sunny, you could see her control.
That was a nice hit. The block wasn't so great on that one. It seemed like she was a little bit late, threw those arms straight up in the air, didn't really press over low like we do want to do on the beach. You want to be low and over to take the space. And she just went right under that left arm.
Hand set, Megan McNamara, you could see right from the beginning kind of not where she wanted to be to attack that ball.
No, just got to get that footwork there so you can make a good play and keep that ball in the court.
So when there's this kind of dismantling, and that's what it feels like now, the McNamara is looking like surgeons cutting it across, how do you kind of respond to it?
That's the tough part, and mentally you really have to stay strong, and you just got to keep going back. Okay, let's try this, but you don't want to try too many things that you just get so frustrated. But the serving pressure, when you get a dig, you have to score. You've got to keep the ball and get those points when you have the opportunity, because otherwise, you're right, they will just handle it and you won't know what happened.
I think we got to break it down to exactly what should you do here. So we'll start with tough serve. This is the right-hander, and uses the block of Emily Sunny. Sunny, a true freshman for Cal Poly.
She's cutting it. She's using high hands there. She went high hands off the block. A lot of indoor players do that on the indoor side as well, and it's nice to see it out here on the beach.
Yeah, for Emily Sunny, I mean, a terrific athlete. Number 13 for Cal Poly. She actually had decided to go to Arizona State to play water polo. Sunny did. She ended up changing her mind and going to Cal Poly to play beach volleyball, but those hands, a goalie for water polo, that transitions well to blocking, according to Todd Rogers.
If you can palm a water polo ball, you can handle the volleyball.
The action continues here where we are locked up. Have one apiece, second flight of action.
Forsythe, coach of the UCLA women's.
Watch on Pac-12 networks.
Pac-12 Beach Volleyball is brought to you by State Farm. Get to a better state. Back on the campus of UCLA, the first of two duels today, and Cal Poly and UCLA tied up at 1 apiece. So we're in the second flight of action now. On the left side of your screen are the ones playing on court 1, and on the right side of the screen on court 2 are the 3 pairs. Tori Van Winden and Elise Zappia controlling that court. But we're going to go back to court number 1. McNamara's chasing it down. Hannah Hubbard and Emily Sunny of Cal Poly holding it tough for the Mustangs.
That's right, they're keeping it close. They're down a couple points, but they're playing well. Emily Sunny at the net with a big block there, getting good touches.
When you look at Sunny, number 13, she is a blocker for this team, but Todd Rogers wants her to be a defender eventually. Beautiful hand set. But the control of the McNamara's, that time going a little bit wide.
Had a couple of those shots right now going a little bit wide, and they're probably trying to make the perfect shot and get that last half of the end line. But right now, just when you get the opportunity, find the area and keep that in the court so you can keep putting on the pressure.
The McNamara's out of Vancouver, Canada, came to beach volleyball in a roundabout way, just on vacation. Their parents like to vacation in Cabo San Lucas in Mexico. They would play down there, and after a while, the McNamara's saying, hey, I think we've got a little something for this sport. And these are players who had international experience before they ever arrived at UCLA. They had a bronze medal on their 17th birthday in Portugal on the U19 team.
Not too shabby. And speaking of Mexico, that is how I met their parents, was on a volleyball court in Puerto Vallarta. The next year, the twins came down to play, and I got to play a little 4-on-4 with them in Mexico. They are very competitive, even if it's for fun. So that was a fun time to get to know them and see their skill.
When were you going to drop that knowledge on me? We've been talking about this match for a week.
Just saving it for a good time.
All right, so who was your partner?
Well, they played with their parents. Now I see their parents are both very good athletes and good players. So it's about 4 to 6 people on each side, and I was on the other side. Yeah.
It was casual, Cabo.
Casual. Well, we were in Puerto Vallarta. I don't know about casual because we're all 3 of us are very competitive, playing for you know, some margarita or something for me.
Final question on the vacation topic: who won?
Don't know. No.
Oh, so they did.
I think it was a tie.
It's hard when you got your parents.
It's very serious down there. They have a good core of group volleyball. They all go down together. So growing up with that would be a lot of fun, and it's cool to see.
Lots of fun. Right now, leading by 4 points on court 1, but on court 2, the 3 pairs, Van Winden and Zappia, a fairly new pair this year anyway, with an 8-point lead in set number 1. Megan, Cuddy. Boy, the cutties that they're pulling out of their pockets are perfect.
They both have that cut shot back and forth, left-handed, right-handed, one twin, the other twin. Beautiful. I wouldn't be able to read that cut. That is coming in very strong, keeping that defender kind of sunk down in her feet, and just a nice little touch on that cut.
Out of the net. Unable to get the angle as that dig out of the net, but that first step you can really see so quick for the McNamara's.
Very quick, and that net play is a strategy that some teams do. If they don't feel they have enough time, they shove it into the net, hoping that the blocker can just come down and give them a nice set. Misty May used to do that a lot with her partner, Carrie Walsh.
No blocker on, overhand dig. Megan McNamara holding it down at the net. Left hand as Emily Sunny trying to take away the line.
And as you can see, the McNamara's are doing back sets as well. So they're cutting it, they're crushing it, they're back sets. They're really using everything they have.
Taking a look at both courts of action right now. On court 2, the 3 pair of Van Winden and Zappia with a massive lead. And chasing it down, kind of a broken play.
Zappia and Van Winden are a new partnership, as you mentioned, but Elise has had great success. She was part of the team with Izzy Carey last year at kind of the 2-3 spot, went back and forth, and they were very successful. Now she has a new partner, and they're also doing well. So kind of working out some kinks and hoping that they'll have that same success.
6-point lead on the right side of your screen for Van Winden. And Zappia, if you were watching earlier, and we hope you were, you saw Tori Van Winden's sister, Adley Van Winden, her older sister, help pick up the first point for Cal Poly. Adley Van Winden goes to Cal Poly, where both Van Winden parents attended as well. And cheater partner Taylor Nelson struck first and put the first point of the duel on the board for the Mustangs. Kind of going between the two courts now. McNamara is on the left side of your screen with a 3-point lead in set number 1, approaching the end of the set. And a service error puts it at match point, or set point, excuse me, for the McNamara's. Left side of your screen, keep an eye there as Nicole and Megan McNamara playing for the set. And a beautiful put away by Emily Sonny.
Great setup there on the pass, and she was ready to come in strong and put that in that back left corner. Defender just couldn't get it.
Hannah Hubbard serving, a junior from San Diego, and it remains set point. Pounded away. And the McNamara's take set number 1 on the left side of your screen, court 1. We'll watch the end of court 2, the 3 pairs finish out as Elise Zappia serving. Her former partner Izzy Carey winning a point from the duel as she is partnered with Jordan Anderson. You saw that in the first flight of action.
And one of the things Coach Metzger said about Elise is she has great partnership skills, so she can play with anyone and make them better. And that's a very important quality, especially if you're kind of shuffling around and trying people with different partners, and just have a good attitude that, you know what, okay, let's see how we can make this work. Everyone has a different personality, and learn and get better.
Set point for UCLA. Van Winden at the net, hitting inside. Zappia. Just a little pokey was all that was required, and Van Winden and Zappia take set number 1. The 3 pairs for both UCLA and the 1 pair for UCLA taking set number 1.
Nice playing all around, and we're seeing that depth. The McNamara's really, they have beautiful setting, great serves at the end line, and they're so dynamic.
Second set of the second flight coming up next. UCLA in the driver's seat. It takes 3 points to win a duel. Bruins stepping on the gas.
Man, I'm really craving it.
Watching Pac-12 Los Angeles.
Welcome back to Westwood. Tough day on campus. Look at these student athletes enjoying beach volleyball. Cal Poly and UCLA tied at 1 point apiece in this duel. We're in the second flight of action. Second set about to begin. And Nicole, the McNamara's and Van Winden and Zappia, both of UCLA, took set number 1 fairly decisively.
They did. They're playing well, and the McNamara's, you know what, it's 21-17. Looks close, but they're really handling the team well, doing whatever they want with the cut shots, the serving, beautiful setting.
But we're going to return to the action now on court number 2 with the 3 pairs. Heather Pembroke serving. Van Winden up.
Oh, yeah, got it.
And a kill.
Just didn't quite pull off the net and get stopped. And that's something as a blocker. If you're going to pull, you've got to hustle, make a strong move back, and stop right as the hitter's hitting so you can react.
Going for the corner. Zappia chases it down. Back at the net. No one on. What a nice chase by Greisen. Now all the way at the net. From the end line to the net. Van Winden looking to break your heart, but goes a little up past the end line. Tied up 1-1 to start off the second set. Rayanne Greisen, out of San Diego, a junior serving. Tall outside hitter on the indoor team. And the tough thing for Greisen, number 33 for Cal Poly, is that she doesn't really play backcourt for Cal Poly indoor, and so here she is knowing that she's got to touch every other ball.
And she just might be playing back row after this beach season.
Yeah,
you got to have good ball control, and that can transfer her back in the indoor game.
The action on court 1 underway as well. Sunny and Hubbard out to a quick start. A 4-1, now 5-1 lead over the McNamara twins in the second set of action. We will keep an eye on that to see if they continue that dominance or if the McNamaras right the ship. Meanwhile, Pembroke and Greisen put another one away. Cal Poly inspired in the second set on both courts.
That's right, and Todd Rogers said that these are arguably the best two athletes he has on the team. They can be a little bit quiet this time, so he's challenging them to push each other, step it up, make more comments if, you know, need a different set or things like that. Because if you get a little bit too quiet in this game, it can be troublesome.
Pembroke just served a walk-on freshman who Todd Rogers said blew him away when he went to look at video of her. Blown away by her athleticism, the strong upside.
It's nice as a coach to have an athlete like that come in, has talent, raw for the beach, but somebody that you can really shape and mold and see how they can grow in this game.
Pembroke out of Chico, California. And she says she really is able to receive Todd Rogers' instruction. She says he's very easy to understand, and that's so important as a freshman.
Nice, beautiful set by Zappia here, and Van Winden just powerful, right by the block. Blocker's a little bit high on that again, and so it goes right off that inside arm.
Long ball. Trading points back and forth. Todd Rogers telling us about this Cal Poly pair, his threes. I'm committed to this pair, but the one thing he says he really needs to kind of cure in this partnership is that both players are quiet. You need somebody to be a little more vocal.
Yeah, definitely. There's always a leader in the team, maybe somebody who's going to step it up when things aren't going well. They can think of an idea to change a different strategy or to fire you up. And sometimes if either partner aren't like that, you got to fake it. Just pretend. Get excited, fake the fire, and then that'll catch on, and it can affect the other team as well.
Did your role in your partnerships kind of change or evolve throughout the course of your career, or were you always one or the other?
It changed over my career. When I started, I was more of a rookie playing with Holly McPeak, Elaine Youngs, more of a follower, and they were the leaders. And as I got older, playing with different partners and had more experience, then I was playing with someone younger, less experienced, and tried to be that leader for them.
Yeah, Todd Rogers telling me before the match that he said when he was with, you know, some of his Olympic partners, over 17 years of his career, he had 3 different partners, and then the last 3, he had another 3 partners. But he said with Dax Holdren and Sean Scott and Phil Dahlhauser especially, that Rogers did most of the talking. He said with Dax Holdren it's a bit split, but that there is that kind of flow where you figure out how much your partner is going to give and you fill the gaps.
Absolutely, and Todd is a coach. He is so knowledgeable. So all those players, although they were the same, maybe experience-wise, were probably learning just as much from him as his younger partners. And later in his career, he was a teacher to these young players and giving back to beach volleyball in that way by giving everything he could. These guys were soaking it up and becoming great players, and they're doing very well today. So that's very rewarding for him, I know, as well.
Zappia back to serve, and there's a look at Todd Rogers, head coach of the Cal Poly Mustangs. Second season as Cal Poly head coach. I don't know how difficult it is to recruit when you've got all those Olympics, 3-time Olympian. Van Winden puts it away. And on court 1, keeping you up to date, the McNamaras have come back, tied it up 8 apiece after a slow 5-1 start. Cal Poly been keeping the ball on Nicole McNamara in that set. Meanwhile, on court two, Van Winden and Zappia controlling the second set.
Cal Poly in a little bit of side-out trouble there, so calling a timeout to gather, come together, talk about it, just get a little breather there and come out strong from the timeout. Maybe the coach, you know what, sometimes when you're playing, you're not thinking, okay, what can I do to change it right now? You're just so focused on, okay, I got to side out this ball. So having that coach to maybe throw in a little tidbit and change it up is always helpful.
Well, you bring up a great point, Nicole, because we hear this from indoor coaches. One of the things they like about the beach game is that their players have to think. They have to work it out for themselves. You cannot coach them from the sidelines. It's only during timeouts and a couple of words as you walk on the side switch. Otherwise, you're on your own.
That's right. You do. You got to figure it out.
The UCLA Bruins have been getting stronger in each year of their existence. Last year, an incredible year, finishing third in the NCAA tournament. This season, they have won 17 consecutive after dropping the first two matches of the year.
They're on a roll, and a good time to be on a roll. Coming out to the second half of the season.
For Stein Metzger, it's been about the depth of this team, recruiting depth. He had planned to have some other people playing. I mean, Zana Munoz, of course, a great player, a great beach player, out with an injury. Jessica Namo ended up going back to Australia. She was a terrific control player. Savvy Simo, injured for much of the year. She's been in and out of the top 5 teams. So the adjustment in depth even more remarkable with UCLA playing so many freshmen.
That's right, and that's part of the team, he said, is very adaptable, that anyone is happy to play with anyone. They want to do what's best for the team, but definitely having some injuries or players that aren't here this year is, something to work out, and that's that 5 pair that they're trying to solidify and figure out, okay, what's going to be the best combo for us to really get that championship and get us those extra points during the duels.
Greisen serving, Zappia. Zappia pokey off the block. Going for the deep line, but pulled off perfectly by Van Winden. The movement of Pembroke completely read that. Looking to tag at the sideline, does not get it. And Van Winden and Zappia controlling the second set. UCLA and Cal Poly tied up at 1 apiece. Or are the Bruins about to put another point on the board? Welcome back, campus of UCLA. Cal Poly and the Bruins tied up at 1 point apiece in this beach volleyball duel. Second flight of action going on right now. 2 courts going on, and on the left side of your screen, it took a 9-4 run by UCLA to get back into this set after a 7-3 run from Cal Poly to start set number 2. We're going to turn our attention, though, back to court number 2, where the 3 pairs are in action. Van Winden and Elise Zappia controlling Pembroke and Greisen in the second set.
They're handling them well, and they have quite a good lead right now. Elise is digging many balls in the back row, and Stein Metzger said she's the diesel engine. She's running all over the place. She's so strong, and that's, as a defender, you want someone who's going to dig the ball and be able to put it away when they dig it.
And so for people watching, in terms of digging the ball, is it reading, playing off the block? Is it the first step? What's the key to being a great defender?
For defense, the key is to be stopped. You don't want to be moving when that hitter is hitting, because you want to be able to react and make that first step. And reading, being able to read the hitter, or if they're going to crank it down or do a shot, people's arms will slow down. So if you can see that out of the corner of your eye, it can help you make a good move on defense.
And there's a huge difference between reading and guessing, and you can tell when you're watching novice players.
That's right. Guessing is they're usually taking off before they even hit it, thinking, oh, I'm going to go to the line shot, and nope, that other attacker will see that and just do that easy cut shot wide open. Nice on 2 here, and they've been doing that well and having success, Cal Poly.
Greisen serving. Heat needed. Instead, she goes to the top of the tape. Van Winden and Zappia kind of rolling on. If they win this set, they get a point. If UCLA wins both of these matches on the court right now, they will win the duel. Van Winden, Greisen up, goes off her hand.
Another tool off the block there for Van Winden, and it looks like Greisen's going up. The timing is just a little bit off because she keeps catching that ball with her elbow. So to me that means she's not pressing over, as we talked about, getting low and over on the net, but just a little bit high.
Putting it past Van Winden, and Sunny and Hubbard, they're not going down without a fight at all. That 1-point lead over the McNamara twins. These are the top two pairs for Cal Poly and UCLA. We'll get to their action in a little bit. But Van Winden right now putting another point on the board, an 8-point lead as they steamroll their way towards picking up a Bruin point.
She's siding out consistently, and that really helps your team. It puts less pressure on having to score points on defense, which they are capable of doing as well, but consistent side out is a key.
And how important is it for Tori Van Winden, as you look at Elise Zappia, but for Van Winden to be a great transition setter, knowing that Zappia is going to receive the majority of the balls?
Well, it's an important part, because if I'm flying around digging a ball, I want to have a good set so I don't have to run on the other side of the court and even put more energy out. But a nice set right in front of me after I've run down a ball and put it away.
Van Winden going to stay off her hands, and so on that, Nicole, off the hands, can you turn around like you do indoor and chase that down?
You can. You can come down quick, turn around and try to play that ball, but if it's too deep, that defender, they just have to try to go for it. You can't always get everything, but I always believe if you go for every single ball, the next time you might start getting those balls up before you know it.
Van Winden to the corner, and it is a match point for UCLA's Tori Van Winden and Elise Zappia. Pembroke. Well played off the tape. It remains match point number 2, and meanwhile on court 1, we will get to that action in a moment as Tori Van Winden sets Zappia. Zappia goes to the open court, and Van Winden and Zappia win the match. UCLA leads the duel 2-1. On court number 1, if the McNamaras are able to win this set, that will close out the duel for UCLA. This is the first duel of a doubleheader on Pac-12 Network. Later on, Loyola Marymount versus third-ranked UCLA. That'll be coming up next. Of course, conserving energy when you've got a doubleheader on a hot day. Also important, Tori Van Winden and Elise Zappia getting it done in 2 sets.
Right, so then you'd look for more this or that.
Yeah.
Okay, so just read what scenario she has for herself. The 1-on-2, I mean, she's got a cutty, so this person
Richard, you
go more into the middle.
Floater deep, that put her in trouble. Float around her deep. Yeah. Here we go.
She did, you know what? Out of the middle, she did kind of do a little shot this way. So I think the line puller has to stay neutral.
Yeah.
And you go to the little one,
yeah.
Stretch.
Here we go.
If you want to put one up the middle and the big one still, that's okay.
Nicole, your serve? Yeah.
Listening in to Stein Metzger, head coach of UCLA, as he strategizes with Hannah Hubbard and Emily Sunny. What'd you get out of that, Nicole?
Well, he was talking about the on-2, which I've seen Cal Poly doing quite a bit this game, and they're successful. So they really need to make an adjustment on defense and try to dig that ball and shut that down.
Lefty, Nicole McNamara. The dig from Hubbard. Pokey again, moving on defense.
That's right. She was going for that line, thinking her momentum was going that way, and she just put that pokey right over out of the corner of her eye. Saw that movement and just a nice, easy shot. At that point, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be into the open area.
Opposite the flow.
Exactly.
You're up.
Hubbard sets. Megan McNamara unloads, but it's an over dig, well controlled. Sunny and Hubbard are planning to go to a third set.
They're not giving up. They've come out here with some fight, and they are not going down easy. Nice digs, nice rallies. Hubbard's a great force at the net right now, and they're keeping the pressure on.
Hubbard serving. Ill time for a service error, as it is now McNamara's serve, and they are controlling the set. Tied up. They put away by Hannah Hubbard.
Hubbard has given that cut shot right back at them. Coming in strong and going up, looking like she's going to hit, and then just cuts it at the last second, keeping the defender kind of stuck in their position.
Sunny and Hubbard, set point for Cal Poly. They want to push it to a third set, see if they can tie it back up at 2 apiece in this duel. Critical point. All the way to the backcourt, chased down. You gotta love that, as Sunny and Hubbard using the noggin, tying it up at 1 set apiece. We will go to a third set. It's going to come down to a third set between the top pairs for Cal Poly and UCLA.
It is go time for Pac-12 softball.
Anytime, anywhere.
All right, so maybe it doesn't look that intense on the field right there, but on the courts, very intense. We are at Sunset Canyon Recreation Center on the campus of UCLA, a beautiful facility where the third-ranked UCLA Bruins are leading Cal Poly in a tight duel, 2-1. And we're returning to the action on court number 1, where Cal Poly and UCLA's ones teams, the top teams in their programs, have just split the first 2 sets. Nicole, for Cal Poly, they were trailing in that second set. How did they come out on top?
We talked about this earlier. What are they going to need to do to beat the McNamaras? And they were going on 2. They were doing one-overs, kind of those funky plays that maybe you don't always expect, and they were scoring points on them. And it kept working, so they kept doing it. They weren't able to shut down the on-2, and Emily Senni was very successful getting them some points with that.
The third set is a shorter set. It's only to 15. Those still win by 2. How do you approach that differently than you would the first 2 sets?
Well, you just do little games to 5. That's how when I played, it was want to get that 3-2 switch. You want to get to 3, at least 3 points on each side when you're switching to stay up on top. And keep your side-out game going. You can't have too many unforced errors at this point with a game to only 15.
What beautiful hands Emily Senni has. Again, pulling them out, just perfection.
I've seen a lot of nice hands out here today. I'm very impressed with the hand setting that they've, it's not easy to do on the beach, so it's great to see.
Emily Senni, number 13 in black, back to serve, has great hands in part because she was committed to be a goalie on Arizona State's water polo team. Ended up changing her mind, going to Cal Poly, but those big hands not only set well, but they block well, according to head coach Todd Rogers.
And we've seen it here today. I've never known a water polo player that played volleyball as well, so that's kind of an interesting combination to kind of go back and forth with, I guess.
Really? You're able to live near Manhattan Beach?
Volleyball.
In Manhattan Beach, that's all there is water polo and volleyball.
True.
Wait till your kids get older. Trust me, that's what they'll do.
Not ballet.
Hands coming the other way, and a block by Megan McNamara as the McNamara twins lead 4-1. The UCLA Bruins, we talked about their depth. Well, also look at their future. Just 1 senior on the team, but 6 freshmen.
They were young last year, and they're still young this year, but the difference is these sophomores, juniors, and the 1 senior, they have experience under their belt from last year at some high-level tournaments, NCAAs, so they can bring that again this year. And they do have quite a few freshmen playing, and they're doing very well for the team.
Yeah, it's incredible. 4 or 5 freshmen playing for UCLA today out of 10. That's incredible. Some of that due to injuries, of course. With Zana Munoz, Savi Simo has been injured. Jessica Namo has moved on. Meanwhile, the McNamara is coming out in third set, and what are they doing to kind of dissect Sunny and Hubbard?
They're crushing this serve from the end line here, and when they get the chance and the opportunity to score, they're putting it away. They're confident. That second game they lost, but it doesn't even look like it fazed them. They came out strong with a new mentality, and it's a whole new game, whole new ball game here.
You're talking about the mentality. Stein Metzger on one side talking about Sean Fallowfield on the other side. We've jokingly called him the couples therapist, as Stein refers to him, but Fallowfield spent some time with these sisters saying, you know, you need to be careful in your relationship with each other. It's different with his sisters. And to kind of take responsibility for yourself. It's a nice compliment to Stein Metzger.
Yeah, I agree. And it would be hard as sisters because once you leave the court, you don't necessarily just not see each other for a couple days. You're still spending time together.
And then what's the puller going to do? She's hit only.
We've got more beach volleyball coming up for you on Pac-12 Network. April 11th. Go up to the Bay, see a beautiful facility, Cal versus Stanford. And then on the 18th, back at Palo Alto, back on the farm, the top team in the nation, USC versus Stanford. On April 20th, a doubleheader. Long Beach State, who just moved into the top 5 in ranking, and then CSU Bakersfield, both facing USC at a doubleheader. And don't forget the championships, April 27th and 28th, Pac-12 championships on Pac-12 Network.
The McNamaras are just handling it right now. They are putting the pressure on with the serve, and Cal Poly is really struggling to side out right now, just not in a rhythm. There's that on two that's been working that second set, so they got to try to throw some of those in there.
5-point deficit for Cal Poly's Sunny and Hubbard. That's a sizable deficit when the set only goes to 15. Over the block and to the back line goes Megan McNamara. Stein Metzger has said the McNamaras set the bar for the rest of the team in their effort and their energy. The talent and depth in volleyball is so incredible as you consider this court, the top two teams being coached by two Olympians, Todd Rogers and Stein Metzger. Jenny Johnson-Jordan also there helping out. I mean, the depth of this sport and the way that it's growing is exponential.
It's nice to see players that had great careers or a good experience playing are coming back and wanting to give back to these athletes and see them grow and see the game get even bigger.
This one to Nicole McNamara. She's the lefty. How do you stop that cutting?
You just don't. It's a good one. But you know what? She's done it enough now. Maybe the defender could play for the cut. She hasn't really cranked any hard ones angle right now. That's been kind of her go-to shot, so I would maybe even just sit there for one and see if she cuts it right at me.
Do you sit there or do you make that move later? Like,
you kind of lean that way to start a little bit. You could take one step over and then you're just even closer to it. But huge block right here for UCLA to really shut down their side-out game. They're just doing everything very well right now.
Solid set. Sunny puts it up. Hubbard puts it down.
She can play that cut shot game too.
Off the net.
That would have been a lucky tape dribbler ace, but I just got under that ball luckily before it landed and probably didn't mean to overpass it, but ended up turning out in her favor. Just one of those kind of funky plays.
Nicole McNamara serving as UCLA approaches the end of set number 3. If the Bruins win this, they win the duel.
Nicole mixing up her serve there with the old jump floaty, so not only can they crush the top spin, they're putting the pressure on with a nice flat serve low over that tape.
Reaches high. Megan McNamara patrolling the net. with no one on, everything available to Megan McNamara.
And they're doing it all this set. They're going on 2. They're mixing up their serves. We just saw the short serve there to throw off the Cal Poly side-out game, and they're testing everything they have, and it's working well.
Pulling off the net. Just those knuckles, the last inch. Megan McNamara going to try to block. Put down by Emily Sunny.
Just snuck that one right over the block, using those knuckles right back at her. Knuckles can be a little tricky. You got to have some strong ones. My left hand is not as strong as my right. I cannot do a pokey very well with the left. So,
defensively, offensively, or both?
I've never been a knuckle pokey defender.
That was pretty great.
It was. That hurt my fingers just looking at it. But only on offense have I used it. But it's a good tool to have.
Match point for the McNamaras. If Nicole and Megan McNamara win this point, UCLA wins their 18th consecutive duel. Hands up, no one on.
Little touchy on that set there. Looked like McNamara's kind of stopped the play, thinking the referee would call the double there, but let that one slide.
Never assume.
That's right. Never stop till you hear the whistle blow. Stranger things have happened.
Match point number 2, McNamara's trying to put this one away in order to win the duel for the Bruins. And it's the knuckles sealing the duel for the Bruins as UCLA wins their 8th consecutive duel. 18th consecutive duel.
And Cal Poly, they came out strong. I'm very impressed with their play. They're playing a tough schedule this year, a lot of the top 5 teams. And Todd Rogers said, you know what, we want to play the best. We want to see what we need to do and go back and get better. And today I think we saw that they're pushing this ranked number 3 UCLA team, and they're just getting better and better.
Not much time to rest for UCLA as they will face Loyola Marymount next. But first, some smiles from the top pair for UCLA as they have a little bit of time to turn around before facing LMU. Another test for the 3rd-ranked UCLA Bruins coming up on Pac-12 Network. 18 consecutive dual wins for the 3rd-ranked Bruins. For my partner, Nicole Branna, I'm Anne-Marie Anderson saying so long for now from Sunset Canyon Recreation Center. More beach volleyball coming up on Pac-12 Network.
We now join this program already in progress.